And you know, we have been lucky here in Pittsburgh over the years. We've been witness to 6 Lombardi trophies for the Steelers, 5 championships each for the Penguins and Pirates, but none of those come close to the 22 championships that Chip Ganassi Racing has won. I recently spent a day with Ganassi, who has built a global racing empire, all rooted right here in Western Pennsylvania.
This was our first NASCAR win with Sterling Marlin in Michigan, 2001.
Could you have imagined back then that you would turn into one of the most decorated owners in this business?
Never, never. I mean, in those days, it would have been great for me just to go to the Indianapolis 500, let alone be in it.
Chip Ganassi of Fox Chapel by way of Monessen is one of the most decorated owners in American motorsports. Listen to this, he's won 22 championships, over 260 races on some of the most internationally recognized stages, including some of the most grueling endurance races. But there was a time when his future, not only as an owner, but future in general, was very much up in the air, like his Indy car in 1984.
25 years old, and things like that happen to you. You know, you're not thinking about your life, you know, like we do now at our age. But, you know, in those days, you just think that's a little speed bump along the way.
But it was nasty. It was one of the nastiest things. Do you remember anything
No,
about
that's the thing. I don't remember a single thing about it. And so that's why it doesn't bother me, I guess. You know,
The brain works in mysterious ways.
It does. It certainly does.
One thing was certain. Chip Ganassi was not about to leave the sport because of an horrific accident that could have claimed his life. If anything, strangely, it piqued his interest even more. He went back to work for his father, Floyd, and used some local connections to lay the foundation for what would eventually become his racing empire.
I've loved all forms of motorsports my whole life. And just the fact that I've, you know, won at Indianapolis or won at Daytona, won at Le Mans, things like that. I loved all those sports when I was a kid.
That love of the sport led him to buy into an IndyCar team, which he eventually took over, and it didn't take long for his winning ways to become apparent, as his first venture into co-ownership resulted in an Indy 500 win that same year.
There have been a lot of great things over the years, you know. I mean, there are too many to point to as one that sticks out. They all have their high points. They're all high points in my career.
His experience as a former driver and his eye for good talent has resulted in championships for drivers such as Scott Dixon, Alex Palou, Juan Pablo Montoya, and Dario Franchitti. What is it about you and looking at someone and determining you can be on my team and I think we'll have success?
I'm able to give drivers what they want. So I think good drivers want to be with us. And you know, we've always been able to access the best drivers in the sport because of the team we put out there for them. They know we're committed to winning as a team.
But in 2021, former Ganassi driver Justin Marks, owner of Trackhouse Racing, came to him with an offer to buy his NASCAR team. It was an offer that Ganassi could not refuse. So he closed that chapter of his career, but he does not regret it. I'm
not one of these owners that, you know, sits up in the suite, you know, having fancy drinks and shrimp cocktails with my, you know, with people. I'm down in the pits. You know, you can't do that in NASCAR unless you're there every week. You got to be there every week. You got to put the time in there every week. I had the other teams, and I didn't want to say goodbye to them, and it was a bit of a conundrum, and I was really not thinking about selling the team at all. And one day somebody called up and wanted to buy it, and I sort of thought about it for a few minutes and said, okay.
And your first 4 championship trophies.
It's my first 4, and I kind of knocked them off the Steelers a little bit there, how they have their Lombardi trophies in a glass case there.
Although Ganassi may not be a member of the NASCAR community anymore, he still has a passion for all forms of motorsports, but it starts with his people.
I put them first. I put the drivers out there first. It's not me. I've never been one to seek the spotlight or to, you know, blow my horn. I think that's a trait maybe of Western Pennsylvanians. We let our work do the talking, not our mouth.